So you have your own business and you're trying to go to the next level. But how in the world am I going to get there? I know the focus, but what do I need to focus on? We'll talk about that coming up.
Inspired with Christopher Williams is sponsored by Williams Enterprise.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inspired with Christopher Williams. I am your host, Christopher Williams, navigator and motivator with you on the path to accomplishing your goals and achieving your dreams. As always, I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show. Not only tuning into the show, but also staying up with me on social media, whether that be through Facebook, Instagram, right through YouTube with the shows is BizLinks. Hey, you guys are always keeping up with me, letting me know how you feel about the show. I truly appreciate it. Our goal on the show is to bring you the most relevant content, the most effective content, and we want to make sure that you're getting something out of it. So your feedback to me lets me know that we're going in the right direction with this thing. We're making sure that we're touching what we need to touch as far as content goes. And I'm just happy that you guys not only are getting something out of it, but you're telling your friends about it. You know, you guys are telling everybody, hey, check this guy out. He talks about a lot of cool stuff. So thank you very much for it. And we're going to keep it coming for you, okay? We're not going to let this thing just stop here. We're going to keep moving and going to see what the next level for us is, all right? So if you remember the last couple episodes, we've been talking about the Dreams to Reality series, all right? This episode is going to be no different. We've been talking about lately focus. We've been talking about how to focus. We've been talking about what is focus anyway. you know me, I'm going to make sure that you guys have a clear understanding before anything else. So going back to the last episode, we really laid the foundation for focusing and what it means for you as the entrepreneur and how you can apply that to your business. Today we're going to talk about some habits that you can pick up, some good habits. I know normally you don't hear habits being a good thing, but on this show we do things a little different. So we're going to talk about good habits you can set for yourself. And we're going to talk about ways you can be more effective when it comes to focusing on your goals. And we're going to talk about how that focus is going to lead you, the business owner, the entrepreneur, to the next level. So I hope you have your handy dandy pen. I hope you have your favorite notebook, because we're going to go ahead and get this thing started, all right? All right, so when we talk about focusing, you may ask yourself, okay, we've been talking a lot about this thing, but I need actual things. I need actual methods. How do I stay focused? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So a couple of things we're going to talk about, not only about how to stay focused, but how these things are going to really pay dividends for you in the success of your business, but also how they're going to help you be elevated to the next level. So when we think about how to stay focused, one of the things we want to do is make sure that we remove distractions, okay? We're really going to want to make sure that as we're, focusing on anything, anytime there's a distraction in the way, it's going to do just that. It's going to distract you from your overall goal. So we want to make sure that we stay focused. Not only that, we want to make time for focused thinking, okay? That may sound a little weird to you, but it's actually one of the most important things when it comes to goal setting and goal attainment, is making time for this time, actually. You want to make sure that you set aside enough time for yourself to be able to think critically about your goals, about the things that you want to accomplish, and also about the things that you want to accomplish maybe a couple weeks from now, a couple months from now, a couple years from now. So a big part of that is making the time for that type of thinking. And once you make the time for that thinking, you want to make sure that you allow yourself to be in the presence of your goals as often as possible. Make sure that you're surrounding yourself with whatever goal you think, once you've thought critically about it, make sure that it's always around you, it's always in your presence. One of the things I do is I'll set alerts in my phone, and I'll set screensavers in my phone, right? Because why? My phone is with me all the time. If I hear an alert on my phone, I'm going to think it's something important. So I'll make sure that it's distinguishable from everything else I have, so that if for whatever reason I'm not thinking about it, that alert's going to go off on my phone and I'm going to go, oh yeah, that is something that I need to be thinking about. So make sure you're in the presence of whatever goal you're trying to focus on as often as you possibly can. And in addition to that, guess what you're going to do? You're going to set even more goals, right? Remember, goal setting is not just something you do, but it's also a way of thinking. And the more you do it, the more you're going to be able to tailor your mindset. You're going to be able to kind of create a new behavior, not only in yourself, if somebody's helping you or if you have a team, but it's also going to allow you to kind of grow a mindset. And the best way to kind of keep that mindset growing and keep it fresh is to continue to set more goals for yourself. So we're going to dive into these topics a little bit more. Okay, so when we talk about removing distractions, right, we want to talk about doing things a certain way. A lot of people say, well, do the important things first, or do the easy things first, or do the hard things first. We want to make sure we do first things first, all right? And when I say that, I mean you want to make sure that you do the things that have a high return. And why do you want to do that? Well, if you do things that have a high return or do things that have a high value, you're more prone to get those things done a lot faster, or you're more prone to focus on those things. And those things are more than likely the things that you're going to follow through with, right? I know if I'm doing something that has monetary value, I'm going to make sure I see that thing through to completion because I want to make sure that's done right. So use that same strategy, okay? Do the things that have a high return value as soon as you can, or make that your focus first. That way you can grow that mindset, you can get into that behavior, and once you do that, that kind of also builds a little bit of your momentum as well. That builds a little bit of your confidence, so that once you accomplish that, that makes the other goals that you set for yourself a little bit easier to follow through on, a little bit easier to focus on, and you're more than likely able to use the strategies that we've been talking about, setting those alerts, setting those task reminders, keeping those things ever present in front of you so that you make sure that not only you accomplish those, but also that you can continue to set more goals, okay? Now, one other thing that you want to make sure that you do, and this is hard, okay? I'm not going to lie, because with today's society, social media, so many distractions out there, it's very hard to really do this, but you want to make sure you make it a priority. And that thing is this: you want to work without interruption. Like I said, I know this could be difficult, all the distractions out there, people wanting so much of your time, but you got to make sure that you do this. You got to make sure that if you're working on something, you work with as little interruption as possible. Now, if this means that you have to turn your phone off for a little while, so be it, right? It's better that you make that sacrifice then than you have to go without a goal being accomplished. Then you have to go without not being able to focus, because nothing's going to get accomplished, right? You think about people that like to multitask all the time. They say they get things done, but at the same time, at what quality is it really done, okay? That's even thinking that they get it done at all. Unfortunately, society tells us we need to do so many things at one time, but when we do those things, I think statistics tells us that we only get 40% of the actual work that we need to get done when we multitask. So it's better that you focus on that one thing, get away from the distractions, and make sure that your time, all your attention is focused on that one goal that you're trying to accomplish, okay? So get away from the distractions as much as you can. And not only that, one thing that could help you is find a place where you can go and work. Some people do that, so that's why a lot of people have, offices. Some people have home offices, some people have offices on an off-site location. But figure out what works best for you. I know me, one of the places I do the best focusing and brainstorming and all that kind of stuff is actually in my car, because I don't have to always have somebody ride with me. I can either turn the music as high as I want to, or I can turn the music off. But I can definitely have that block of time, whether I'm traveling for 15, 20 minutes, or if I'm making a long trip. That time I use and I've dedicated to be my time. That way I can focus not only on, making sure I'm, following the rules of the road, but I'm able to focus on my goals without having anybody interrupt me through message or phone call or whatever the case may be. But I'm able to kind of hone in. So if that's something that you may have to do, don't be afraid to do those things, because it's best that we get as much accomplished as we can than to worry about how much we didn't accomplish throughout a day. Okay, so when we're also thinking about finding a place to think, we also want to make sure that we're making time for focused thinking, okay? Now, one of the best things we can do for ourselves when we're making time is putting non-productive things on hold. Now, when I say putting non-productive things on hold, it's not necessarily all about blocking everything else out, right? This is a little bit more intentional. Remember, focus is all about intention. But think about it like this: you're at your office, in your space that you dedicated to be your focus and location. But then you're bombarded with emails. You're bombarded with text messages, if that's a way that you communicate with those who are important. You have these things going on that are a part of your normal routine. So do this. Put all non-productive things aside for a certain amount of time. If you're used to checking your emails in the morning, when you're doing your thinking, maybe don't check your emails for the first 3-4 hours of that time period. Doesn't mean you're not going to check them. It just means that you realize and you are honest enough with yourself to say, hey, if I check these emails, I may see something that's going to distract me. And next thing you know, I'm going to end up having to say, you know what, I'll focus later. I'll do my focus thinking at another time. And you and me both know that's never going to happen, right? Because things are going to constantly be asking and requesting all of your time. So make sure that you do those non-productive things at another time. You put those non-productive things on hold. In addition to that, focus on completion. One of the main things people out there, like about working with productive people is they see things through. And you want to make sure that your reputation is that you're somebody who not only completes things, but you see things through from beginning to end. You don't want to be known as somebody who can get things started and they never finish. Although there is a place for those kind of people on any productive team, but you want to make sure that your reputation is going to precede you the best way that you can. So make sure that you're completing these tasks. Make sure that you're completing your thoughts, okay? One thing that I've learned through personal experience is that when you don't complete a thought or when you're focused on something and you don't see it through, it really aggravates the mess out of you because you had a goal in mind and for whatever reason you let something distract you. Now the thought may be gone forever, right? You'd hope that it's not. You'd hope that something spars your memory and, it comes back to you. But you had that rare opportunity to have a complete thought. You had an idea. You had a goal. You had a way to do it. And you probably had a way you could see yourself completing it. But you let something distract you and now it's gone. So you don't want to put yourself in that situation. So make sure that when you're focused, you're seeing things through to completion. And wherever you are at that time, make sure that you're there wholeheartedly, okay? Don't be there in thought, but then be there or be somewhere else in action because you're not focused. When you're focused on something, everything has your undivided attention. So make sure if you're somewhere intentionally, make sure you're there mentally and emotionally. Because if you're not, then that moment of focus is really being wasted. And we don't want to waste time. I know you hear me saying that all the time on the show. We're not about wasting time. It's because we're not. Right? There's no production. There's nothing good that comes out through wasting time. So if you don't get anything else from this show, you're going to be like, hey, that guy don't like to waste no time. So just make sure you're remembering that, okay? You don't want to waste time because you don't know when you're going to get that time back again. Most likely you're not, right? That's one thing we can't get back is time. So make sure you spend your time on those things that are going to be productive and those things that are going to push you forward to the next goal. And the last thing you want to remember when we're talking about being focused and having focused thinking is you don't want to forget to set more goals, right? Now, I know what you may be thinking. Well, I'm just learning how to focus on one goal. Now you want me to do extra. You want me to think about other stuff. Well, that's not necessarily the case. What you're doing and what we're kind of growing right now is we're growing a mindset, right? We're growing a different perspective on this whole goal attainment thing. And what you want to make sure that you're allowing yourself to do is you're allowing yourself to use what you're learning, right? If I don't use what I know or what I've learned, then how am I going to ever grow, right? You want to make sure that you're using these things. So set more goals once you kind of got in that mode of focusing on things. Want to make sure that you're setting goals that are not only attainable to achieve, but you want to make sure that they're big enough to where once you complete them, you're going to feel like you accomplished something. So keep that in mind when you're out there, you're focusing in on things, you're making sure that you're setting enough time out, you're making sure that you're not being distracted, you're making sure that you're putting things that are not productive to the side, and you're making sure that you're emotionally where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. But once you get in this mindset and you're like, yeah, I get this goal setting thing, I get this focusing thing, don't forget to set more goals, right? We want to make sure that we're always going upward, right? We don't want to be stagnant because after a while there's no production that comes with being in the same place all the time. So make sure you're challenging yourself. Make sure that you're out there, you're growing mentally and you're growing emotionally. And you want to make sure that these goals that you're setting, that you're going to use those same qualities that we've been learning about focusing, use those to start another goal, okay? Now, like I said, we're not in about brainstorming, but these goals are going to be intentional. So you may say, okay, I wanted to do a marketing strategy. I now have that under control. Now what do I want to do? Well, maybe I want to change, maybe I want to grow who's coming in and watching my show. That's fine. So you're still keeping in line with being focused, but you're now setting more goals. You're now challenging yourself to do extra. And that's always a good thing, because what we do when we challenge ourselves is we not only grow, but we also grow the other people around us that are watching what we do. So if you can do these things and you can kind of learn how to have that focused mindset and have that focused thinking, I guarantee you'll be on the path to achieving so much more in a small amount of time than you ever thought you could do before you learned really what it meant to actually be focused, right? I know I've been telling you guys that, we kind of put a different spin on things when we talk about things on the show. But now that we know what focused is in the inspired world, so to speak, now you'll be able to kind of take that and say, hey, that guy Chris, man, he really told me some things. I'm going to use that right away. And that's what I hope you do. I hope you use the things that you learn here right away, because they're not going to do anything but make you better, right? And that's what I'm all about, is helping people be better.
Meet Shelley. She can make a Labradoodle look like, well, either one. And she's a marketer. Shelley uses Constant Contact email to spread the word about her services, whether it's staying in touch with her regular customers or reaching brand new ones. It works for Shelley, and her clients are delighted. Shelley's a marketer, and all it took was Constant Contact. Try it free.
Visita provides a complete business calendar, fully integrated with your client scheduling experience. You can view and manage your daily schedule and any upcoming meetings, and most importantly, schedule new appointments and follow-ups with your clients. Using Visita Calendar for client scheduling will save you time and deliver a better service to your clients. Visita Calendar automatically syncs with your existing calendar on Google, Outlook, iPhone, and more.
Welcome back to Inspired with Christopher Williams. We're going to take this time to thank our sponsors for helping make the show possible. We're able to bring you guys such great content, and we really couldn't imagine not bringing it to you. And our sponsors help make that possible. So thank you to our sponsors, and thank you to anybody out there who's even willing to consider sponsoring the show. We thank you for your consideration, and we look forward to working with you. But thank you to our sponsors. Today's point of power is going to come from the idea of success. Success is a habit. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Success is a habit. Oftentimes when we think of success, we think of award shows, right? You think of the things you watch on TV, people getting an award for best actor or best music, or even on Facebook and social media, people post their major moments of accomplishment in their life, and, we're like, okay, well, they're successful. When in actuality, those moments are not what you would consider success. Success is the culmination of the behaviors that they had to get there. And relating that to you as the entrepreneur, your success are the behaviors that you display, the habits that you create, and the good behaviors, let's say that good behaviors that you display that are going to lead you to fulfilling your goal. A lot of times when we think about goal setting and goal achievement, we often think about the end result. But it's our behaviors that actually lead us to those moments. So when we think about the behaviors and the times that we put on the hard work, we spend the hours doing all the things that nobody notices, the character building, all those things, those are the successful times for us. And if it so happens that somebody sees it and recognizes us for it, whether it be a pat on the back or some award they want to nominate us for, then that's great. But the idea is that don't let those moments determine how successful you are at achieving whatever goal you have in mind. Your success becomes the things that you do on a regular basis. So keep that in mind, okay? Success is a habit. I want to thank you guys for tuning into the show. We had a great time as always. Feel free to reach out to me whenever you have questions or concerns, or if you just want to say hi and hey, good job at the show. I always like that stuff. Facebook.com/Williams Inc. Christopher at OneWilliamsEnterprises.com. OneWilliamsEnterprises.com is the website where I'm always available as well. And the Instagram page, Williams_Enterprises. Always available to you, always at your disposal. But until next time, hey, tune into the other episodes of Inspired, BizLinks TV, where you can catch those and other episodes that you may have missed. And the YouTube channel. You can always find the other episodes there as well. But until we meet next time, stay inspired.